Good morning. This is Chef Mike from 18 Reasons. I'm here today to teach you a quick little, very handy tip on how to poach an egg. Full story here. I did it wrong for about 30 years of my career. So I'm here to show you the right way of doing it and the exceptionally right way of doing it, and we'll end up with some poached eggs. It's always a good thing in the morning. So to poach an egg, you need a pot of water. You need a slotted spoon, and you need an egg. You also need a thermometer, because one of the keys to poaching an egg is having the water at the right temperature. Somewhere between 180 and 190 degrees is perfect. There'll be little tiny bubbles, but certainly no full boil. Now, most of my career, I added vinegar to the water, with the thought being that the vinegar would help coagulate the egg whites and make the egg stay compact and tight around the yolk. It turns out that chemically, in order to put in enough vinegar to have that happen to the proteins in the egg white, you end up with a vinegar egg. So it always made me feel better to put in a splash of vinegar, but it did nothing really effectively to the egg. So we're not going to add any vinegar. We're not going to add any salt, which also interferes with the egg white coagulating. We're just going to heat the water to 180, 190 degrees. We're going to get a nice, fresh as possible egg. This came from my backyard. I'm reasonably certain it's pretty darn fresh. I'm going to break it into a ramekin. I do this for two reasons. This tells me that I have a perfect yolk. I didn't break the yolk when I cracked the egg. It also enables me to lower this egg directly into the hot water, not drop it from a height. And by lowering it directly into the hot water, I'm more likely to get a perfect poached egg. This egg will tend to take on the shape of the container of water it's in. So if you poach an egg in a big, wide, shallow frying pan with water in it, the egg tends to spread out. If you poach an egg in a tall stock pot, the egg tends to teardrop. I have a kind of a medium small sauce pot here. My temperature is right where I want it to be. If I'm just poaching one, maybe two eggs in the morning, you can always use your spoon to make a bit of a vortex. This is not an essential step, but the idea being I can now lower this egg directly into the middle of the vortex, and those spinning currents will wrap the egg white around the yolk and tend to give me a better poached egg in the end. And there it is. It sits there for 2 to 3 minutes until the white sets up and the yolk is still runny, and then we'll take it out. While that's cooking, I'll show you a technique I think originated, I believe, by the mad scientist in London, Heston Blumenthal. Heston was not a chef, but he is an insanely curious and inquisitive man who wanted to be a better cook. And so he took a fresh approach to cooking and looked at tried and true methods and tried to make them better. And one of the techniques he developed was for poaching an egg. He realized that those egg whites that come out of the egg as it cooks in the water are loose, and are loose from the beginning. So Heston's technique is to crack the egg into a sieve and then allow the loose egg whites to run out. So any egg white that isn't tightly around the egg yolk will run off. The sieve will also kind of pre-form the egg into a more uniform shape. And then once the excess egg whites have been taken out, you go to the water and you just use the sieve to gently lower the egg in. So we'll see how Heston's technique works next to a classic technique. We've got a minute or two more. Another important thing about poaching eggs, poached eggs can be served any time of the day or night. I love a poached egg for dinner. I love a poached egg over a hamburger. I love a poached egg throughout the day. But the classic use for a poached egg happens on a Sunday brunch. Sunday brunch used to be the punishment shift. If you did something at work and screwed up and the chef was upset with you, you got scheduled to work Sunday brunch. Because everybody goes out Saturday night, and nobody wants to wake up early in the morning Sunday and do elaborate egg dishes. That's true for non-professionals too. Everybody loves Sunday brunch, but nobody wants to be the one getting up early and making Sunday brunch. So one of the big techniques that will make your life easier from here on out is to poach your egg the night before. In the kitchen with tunes and maybe a beverage in your hand. Poach the egg until the egg is perfectly cooked, and then put the egg into a little bowl of ice water like this. It immediately stops the cooking. You can store it in the ice water overnight. The next morning, Sunday morning, you get up early, you're a little groggy, a little rusty around the edges. You don't have to poach the egg. You just get a pot of water warm and use the warm water to gently reheat the eggs that are already poached. You don't have to crack an egg. You don't have to worry about the egg breaking. And you can put out 12 or 24 perfectly poached eggs with almost no effort. So I'm going to go to the water and we'll check on the first egg that went in. It is looking beautiful. It is almost done. Really importantly here, don't worry about adding more than one egg into a pot at the same time. As long as there's 15-30 seconds between the eggs, they will seal off enough that you won't glue the eggs together. They will stay separate in your pot. So you don't have to do one egg at a time for an hour just to get ready for a brunch or a big occasion. You can have more than one working at the same time. You want to keep that water at the same very, very gentle simmer. A couple bubbles coming at to the surface every couple seconds, but certainly not at a boil. And you just cook it till it looks right. Looking into my pot, I am very close to having a beautiful, beautiful poached egg. It is not quite there. Right next to the egg yolk, I can still see some clear egg whites. Those are egg whites that haven't quite set yet, but this is a very pretty poached egg. I'm going to lower that back into the water and we'll give it a minute or two more, and then we'll have poached eggs. I'll have them in the fridge, maybe for breakfast, maybe for lunch, maybe for dinner. You never know. We do have in the coming months, next month, as a matter of fact in October, I'm going to be teaching a class called Exceptional Essentials, and we're going to be doing egg dishes. We're going to be making crepes and stuffing them with a cheese souffle and mushrooms. And we'll take the crepe and we'll put the souffle into the crepe and then fold it over and bake it. And as it bakes, the souffle will rise and we'll have a beautiful, almost taco-shaped, delicate French crepe stuffed with a light and airy cheese souffle mix. We're going to serve that with some wild mushrooms. And we're also going to be teaching a class, in that same class, we're going to be making my wife's favorite sandwich, kind of in a upscale version. We're going to be making perfect egg salad. We're going to make a perfect egg salad and put it open-faced on a beautiful tartine or open-faced French sandwich, toasted good bread, covered in egg salad, and crumbled crispy bacon over the top of that. So we'll have a very fancy breakfast or dinner souffle omelet, and we will have an open-faced egg salad tartine in a little 90-minute class coming in October on eggs. But for right now, I'm going to pull my poached egg out of the water and drop it into the ice water so I can hold it. Ooh. That is a beautiful poached egg. And it goes right into the ice water, and that stops the cooking. And I'm all set. And the Heston version of the egg is looking pretty good too. It's not quite done. And the idea being, with these poached eggs, you want to serve them wet. I got a piece of ice there. So if this was warm, I would just dry it off gently on a towel. Oh, yes. and place that on an English muffin or on some blanched off broccoli rabe or in the middle of a fresh baked pizza. And then you can't beat this part about a properly poached egg, the runny yolk. So that yolk is just still runny, maybe a little bit over. Let's see how the Heston egg turned out. I like that. That's a nice looking egg. Always, since there's no salt in the water, we always want to season our poached egg before we eat it. Let's pull the Heston egg out and see how that one looked. Oh, he does know a thing or two, does that man? So there is the Heston poached egg, and the egg white is much tighter to the egg yolk. I pulled that a little earlier so it runs a little bit better. But that's two different techniques for making a poached egg. This is Mike at 18 Reasons. I'll see you in classrooms very soon, I hope. Stay well.